Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years. Welcome back to season 2.
Hello, and welcome to the Clio cast. Is that still the name?
Yes, so the CleoCast is the name. I think we should drop the history part because we haven't really done that in a while, even though we were just talking about the series that we stopped working on. And we should probably get rid of the statue profile picture because during our hiatus for a year and a half, sorry about that, guys, some people have informed us that makes us look racist, which we are not.
Look, when you're coming up with logos and stuff, sometimes you just Google Clio because your friend came up with, Clio's like the Greek muse of history.
Mm-hmm.
And you just pull like the first or second result off Google Maps and you just cut
Google
out the
Maps?
statue thing. Google Images, you know what I meant.
Yeah, I know what you meant, but you said it wrong.
I know I said it wrong. And sometimes, because you're the only one that does the imagery for the show, you just get a little lazy and you just edit on your phone, and then that's just your logo for like 10 years.
See, the problem I have is I was born 40 years old, and I have the technological skill to go with that. You've known me for a very long time. Have I ever been that good with computers?
You're the creative side, as in you create problems, and I'm the solution side, as in I do 90% of the work in design, despite being not artistic at all.
Yeah. Hey, I write the sometimes funny quips in the descriptions.
That's the creation.
Yeah.
That's the creative.
Yeah. Anyway, well, we haven't done that in a year and a half. So a little bit.
Saying a year and a half. It's been almost 2 years. Brother.
Almost 2 years.
The last episode was like June of 2024,
which was about the World Cup, which is approaching. We will talk about that in a second. But I just wanted to address our hiatus. Speaking for myself, not sure I'm speaking for C as well, but the embarrassment of being a 20-something white man with a podcast did begin to creep inside me as our podcast seemed to grow a little bit and more people talked to us about it. The more and more I was embarrassed that our hobby podcast was known and that we are getting messages from people who we've never met before about our podcast. So we did, out of anxiety and shame, take a little break from the podcast.
But we got really good at Age of Empires 2 again.
We did get really good at Age of Empires 2. And our wonderful friend came over on our recording night, which became a little hangout session. And then he quit his normal office job to pursue an alternative lifestyle. So we are now bringing the podcast back because we are, once again, 20-somethings with office jobs who are free on a random weekday evening. So
can you believe a lot has happened in the intervening year and a half since we've done the podcast?
Yes. And
like our last episode was about something that was 2 years away, and now it is something that is like a month or two away, and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and if you've listened to any of our back catalog, you've probably heard us complaining about a intersection that was being repaired. Well, that's done, and I moved away from the intersection.
That is true. We no longer live quite so close together.
Nope. I now live kind of close to where the World Cup is going to be happening, where events are going to be happening, and I also have to move during the World Cup. So
I now live kind of close to, I don't know if you saw, where the British team is going to be staying for the World Cup.
Oh my God.
Did you see that?
Are they staying in the Embassy Suites?
They're staying in Prairie Village.
What?
In that fancy hotel by like the lake thing.
That's a hotel?
Yeah. And they're staying in it. They're like renting out the whole thing. That's going to be their like base camp headquarters. It's crazy, dude. They're going to go to the Big Biscuit every morning or something for lunch. Their definition of what a biscuit is and ours is going to be very much culture shock, I gotta say.
Also, there's a Conroy's by there, which will also be relatively...
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, how long will it take for one of the British players to get hit by a car trying to walk across the street?
A day.
Probably.
A day. Anyway, so all of our predictions about the World Cup has come true so far. There is no transit plan from everything that I have read. Other than still the buses, they are planning on adding an extra river runner to St. Louis, mainly for flight connections, but also the range of people, like range of places to pull in to the World Cup is being determined at 300 miles, which includes St. Louis. So they are expecting that staying in St. Louis is a reasonable commute to then go to a World Cup game in Kansas City.
Yes. And I think it's gotten even more interesting just from the perspective of we have more data now. So now we know that not only the UK, but like I think 3 other major teams like Argentina and I think the Netherlands are planning on base camping in Kansas City too.
Yes.
So if you don't just have the fans there for the games that are actually being held there, you also have the fans that might want to see like Messi or someone on the street that might come to Kansas City just because, hey, that's where my team is. I might be able to see my players out and about. And then also, I believe, not to hard change the subject, but I think that we were talking about this a year or two ago, which was one of our 2 teams moving. We were talking about the Royals a lot.
Yes.
But in the intervening time, now the Chiefs are actually moving across state lines, which I think we might have mentioned briefly, but kind of not realistically.
Well, okay. It's still an unrealistic plan. So for people who don't know, Kansas has this system called star bonds. These are for encouraging small tourist attractions to Kansas, as Kansas ranks in the low 40s, if not 50th, in states that are visited for tourist purposes. And the largest tourist attraction in Kansas is the Legends Outlet Mall.
Is it really?
These are facts, and I'm getting secondhand from a person that I know who works in.
I mean, I'm trying to think, like, what else would it be?
Like the world's largest ball of twine is basically the next thing.
Oak Park Mall.
Yeah, Oak Park Mall. So Kansas is using this bond system to develop tourist attractions, which, by the way, almost every single star bond that's been taken out has defaulted. The only successful one financially is the Legends Outlet Mall, which I was just talking about, which is the largest tourist attraction in Kansas, based on sources of a person I talked to one time.
You're getting like fourth-hand knowledge.
And I'm getting fourth-hand knowledge that's being passed through professionals I know down to dumbasses like me who have a podcast.
Look, this is the CleoCast standard we need to maintain.
Yes. So, and the one thing that I do have as an example is Prairie Fire in Overland Park. Overland Park is a very wealthy suburb of Kansas City. Prairie Fire was intended to be like this rotating exhibit museum thing where like different like traveling exhibits, whether it's dinosaur bones or like whatever, could...
You say dinosaur bones because that's, I think, the only one they've ever had.
Yeah.
I can't think of a single one.
Yeah, so rotating traveling exhibits could go to that. It would be a venue for that. It's also been a venue for some weddings, I think, but
I know it's a venue for my company's Christmas party until the business that we were holding it at went out of business, and we don't do it there anymore.
Yeah. So basically, something that should be funded by tax dollars through a bond in a very wealthy part of Kansas City, the Kansas City metro area, if that's defaulting, how big of a space do you need for this bond range in order to build a multi-billion-dollar sports complex? Well, I will have you know, it is taking up probably about 45% of the Kansas City suburbs.
On the Kansas side.
On the Kansas side.
I think almost all of Wyandotte County and a good chunk of Johnson County.
Yes.
The other good chunk of Johnson County is being used for the practice facility bond, which is like an entirely separate ballot measure. And
this was planned off of data that is going off of really high estimates. They're being really optimistic about their projections, and they are thinking about, well, you know.
I think I saw something along the lines of their projections were estimating that 600,000 people would enter the district on like game day or something like that. Like that's how much extra revenue, extra taxpayers would come there and spend money. Which I guess with a district that large, yeah, but you're also just kind of assuming that those are going to be new customers and not just the baseline that already exists.
Not the people who are doing a tailgate event, but now tailgate events are at the Chiefs-owned branded sports bar that's charging $15 for a beer.
Because the whole thing, how these star bonds work is they basically take like a little, I don't know, survey, and they collect like a baseline of tax revenue for like what's to be expected, and then they set the actual bond that goes towards paying off the thing above that.
Yes.
So the municipality still gets its tax revenue, but then anything above that, i.e. anything generated by a brand new district that would raise the revenue, goes towards paying it off. But the key is you have to meet that baseline. You have to actually have the new revenue, or you're not paying off the bond at all.
And another thing that I've learned secondhand from experts in the field, this is being translated by someone who is not an expert in the field, but the bonds are projected to not do well on the market as well when issued and brought to market for institutional investors to buy. Right now, dipping your toe in the market of investors, they are not really that interested in buying these bonds, mainly because they are economically dubious at best.
Yeah, I don't think there's, from what I saw, I don't think there's a lot backing them.
No.
Yeah, I think they're just kind of strategically designed to be like low impact towards the community if they fail.
Yes.
But that means that the risk is a lot higher because there's not as much assurances. And I think this is the largest, I want to say, stadium bond in the U.S. Because the only stadiums I can think that are more expensive, like SoFi out in California, I think that one was privately funded.
Yeah, no, Stan Kroenke and his Walmart wife paid for that.
Yeah. And then like Highmark, I think that's a new stadium that's going up. I don't think that one is as expensive. So.
Well, that one isn't going to be a dome because Buffalo. Kansas City is desperate to host a Super Bowl. So I think that's why they are looking to do a dome or retractable roof.
And I think Kansas City is pretty much guaranteed to host the Super Bowl if they get a domed roof, because they were going to get one in the 10s, but they didn't have a roof. And that was where the rolling roof bond measure was supposed to come into play. Yeah. That would roll between Kaufman and between Arrowhead. And that one just failed. So they're like, well, you don't get the Super Bowl now. Sorry. Yeah. But I think we're, especially with Clark Hunt, the owner of the team's position in the league, I think we're pretty guaranteed to get one by like 2035 or something. Yeah.
Now, hard pivot.
That's just going to be this show, guys. Yeah. Just buckle up.
Yeah, this is the updates as if you also didn't live the past year and a half, most likely in the Kansas City area.
News from 6 months ago, presented as if you haven't ever heard of it before.
Yeah. Since we last talked on this podcast, even though we talk like almost every day via text.
Yeah, we still hang out all the time. We just don't let you guys join us.
Yes. We have a different president from our last episode, and I have been seeing some opinions that maybe some countries need to back out of being involved in the World Cup because of that new president's policy.
Yeah, I mean, when you're threatening to invade or seize one of the members of your global alliance that's been around for 80 years, it kind of doesn't really look good for you to also be like welcoming those people into your country for like a friendly sporting event. Yes. I mean, we did it to the Soviets back in the 80s when they invaded Afghanistan, and we're like, hey, yeah, you don't get to participate in friendly competitions. And we did it to the Russians in like 2014 when they invaded Ukraine and took over Crimea. It's like, hey, you don't get to do the Olympics. Mm-hmm. So the question is, I mean, when you invade Venezuela and bomb Iran and threaten to take over Greenland, does the same standard not still apply? Yeah. You know?
Is it time to withdraw from the World Cup if you're a different country, especially a Spanish-speaking Latin American country? Yeah. Is it really safe for your players to be out on the streets of American cities in plain clothes as if you're a normal person?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
That's one of the fun parts of being in the 21st century.
Yeah. 21st century
new horrors every week.
Yes. It is a total bummer. But
I'm going to do it. I do think the Francis Furiaka, I don't know how to pronounce his last name because I'm not seeing it in my brain right now, theory of everyone just kind of gets bored because there's nothing left to do is starting to play out, where
Yes.
like the natural end stage of neoliberal democracy of like, we won, we beat the Soviets, it's just everybody getting bored and like, yeah, but what if we just like fucked everything up because there's nothing to do?
What if we cosplayed American revolutionaries, but also like really like licking boots?
What if we just like tried to make things more chaotic for no real reason, just because I don't know, what else are we supposed to do? Just be a hegemon for the next 500 years? Like, that's boring. We're just supposed to make money, man.
Let's ruin it for everyone. I also do think that 9/11 did drive some people insane, because I have been on a 9/11 deep dive relatively recently, and tragedy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. It was a horrific tragedy, and going through watching documentaries or reading about it, listening to stuff about it, it's very much if I saw this on TV and I was old enough to comprehend it, I would also drive myself completely insane.
Did you pick up that book I told you to read?
I have not picked up that book.
It's the oral history of 9/11, where it's just told from a bunch of different people's perspectives for our viewing audience to reference.
Yeah.
I think it's, I don't want to say poetic because that sounds like positive, but it's literary. It's interesting that it's such a turning point. Normally, historically, does not have such a perfect cataclysmic event. Normally these things kind of happen quietly. Like let's say, for instance, the British Empire, right? Like World War II, whatever. It still existed after World War II, though, and it just kind of slowly decayed. And you almost have to be paying attention to see like the decline. Like, yeah, India gets independence, a bunch of African countries get independence, but it's not like there's one cataclysmic event and you could say, yeah, the British Empire is over or whatever.
Yeah.
But like with that, it's like 9/11. It's like, yeah, you have a turning point. You have a major shift in everything, and like the way Americans perceive and are perceived. The end of the century.
Yeah.
The end of everything, and it's like, yeah, and there's the giant imagery of the planes hitting the World Trade Center. It's just interesting because I almost think 25 years later, it doesn't get treated as such as much anymore because it is, for lack of a better word, cliche. I mean, it's 9/11.
It's a joke,
but it just is such a monumental event that like underpins everything that's been happening for the last 25 years.
And like, if you look at what was going on pre 9/11, like the U.S. was on track to be debt free. The budget was balanced. There was, other than the .com boom, like an unprecedented amount of economic growth. It was, granted, the reason people were able to buy houses at the time was because of a weird mortgage scheme that ended up crashing the economy 7 years later. But like, home ownership was a possibility.
Well, it's like, I know it's like the nostalgia 90s, but it's like, like kind of like the Bulls and basketball and stuff, where it's just like they're just going around the world. Everybody loves them. Everybody loves the U.S. It's cool. We're just popular, all this stuff. I mean, we won. There's like very minor world conflicts and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, that chapter turns, that page turns, and it's like, oh, well, okay, now we have to go get blocked in the war for 10 years, and also the economy collapses in 2008, and also it's just like one thing after another. I mean, there's a freaking global pandemic 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. I guess if you look at it from a negative perspective, you only see the negative things.
Yes.
And you could probably do that for like the 80s and 90s and look at it from a negative perspective and come away with a really negative outlook. But it just does feel like, I don't know, a shifting point.
Yeah. But, there's good things to look forward to, too. Like our approaching trip to New York City.
The Big Apple, baby.
The Big Apple. I have been multiple times. I have family from there. A previous podcast guest host.
Listen to the land value tax episode.
Yeah. Has moved there. So we are going to be going and visiting him, and it is going to be a fun trip. This is going to be RC's first time in New York City.
Yes.
He's been to Chicago. He has been to many other American cities, but
I think I've been to most of them.
yeah.
I think New York really is the only one I have. I've been to Boston. I've been to D.C. I've been to Miami. I've been to L.A. and San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Denver, Chicago.
He's been to
Minneapolis.
Phoenix.
No, I haven't been to Phoenix. I think I might have driven through the suburbs of Phoenix one time. But, yeah, I've never been to New York. I was to Chicago.
Yep, and I think you're gonna love it unless you decide that you're gonna like do the thing where you don't admit that you like it.
No, I already think I'll love it.
Okay, awesome. But actually, since I mentioned Phoenix, you have not been. I went to Phoenix this past November, and I will say that is a hellscape of a city.
Yeah?
One, with my luck, it rained in Arizona.
Rain?
Yeah, it rained. But no, it's just an incredibly car-dependent city, and I don't understand why Scottsdale is like the destination for bachelorette parties. I was there. I'm not really into like expensive boutiques. Granted, I was there for a specific event, but
Well, it's interesting because, and maybe I'm out of date on like the urbanist, walkable, whatever, which I'll just kind of feel like we've been out of that for a while. It's been like 2 years, but it just is interesting because it's like kind of the inverse of Minneapolis, where it's like hot. And like it doesn't seem like dense, nice, walkable urbanism would be really appealing there because I don't really want to walk on the surface of the sun.
I'm going to be real honest. Granted, I did go in November, but the dry heat thing is real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is real. Also, in our hotel, you're going to be able to figure this out now, but I don't care. I stayed there a few months ago.
You're doxing your hotel.
We're doxing the hotel I stayed at in November. The hotel in the parking lot, like right nearby, there was a White Castle, which I walked to.
They have White Castle in Arizona?
Yeah, they have White Castle in Arizona. And I walked in. One, I've only been to White Castles in places where like more urban environments in older cities, and this is a brand new White Castle. This isn't an old one, and it was really weird to be greeted by a like smiling teenager who was like, "Hi, welcome to White Castle. What can I get for you?" And not a person who was just like, "We sell fucking sliders. What do you want?" Like every other time I ordered at a White Castle, like the pure contempt the White Castle employees have for everyone who goes to get White Castle.
I think I can match that because I went to one in Vegas one time.
Yeah.
And there was a line.
There was a line for
I had to wait. It was bizarre. There was like 400 people there. And it's just like, man, why are you guys here? Like, do you know where you are?
This is the White Castle. This is for disgusting slobs from the Midwest.
Yes, this is like, you get like 400 for $5 and you go and it lasts 20 seconds in your system before you have to then
Yeah, it needs to exit. But anyway, so I walk into this very nice, basically brand new White Castle, and I'm greeted by a smiling teenager who isn't holding me in complete contempt. And I get to order my food, and I get my little like receipt with my number on it from the call, and I look over, and right there on the counter where they're dropping off the food, I see a man in full cowboy regalia, including opening carry 2 revolvers.
Hell yes.
In the White Castle at about 5:30 p.m. on a weekday in Scottsdale, Arizona.
That rocks.
Yeah, it rocked, and I was just like, I kind of want to take a picture of him, but I also like can't take a picture of a man who's open carrying firearms
because just ask like to take a picture with him. Hey man, can I get a picture? You look like John Tombstone from the movie Tombstone.
Yeah,
you're in Arizona. It's Tombstone, Arizona, baby.
Yeah. So I didn't, and I kind of regret it, but I should have taken a picture. But I was more of like shocked first at nice White Castle employee, then cowboy with pistols.
You just reminded me. of something completely unrelated.
What?
But I was driving back from my lunch break to work yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday, and I was having like a rough day. And I know you know what I saw, but I'm going to ask, can you guess what I saw?
You saw your boss in a car crash.
I did not. I saw the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile trying to get on the highway. It's just like, oh my God.
And that's the worst place to try and get on the highway, too, with the Wienermobile.
Yes. And I don't know why it's in town. I don't know if they're like doing a tour. I have no idea anything about the Wienermobile other than it was in my neighborhood. And it's like, oh my God. It's like a celebrity sighting. You just don't get a lot of celebrities out here, I got to say.
No.
You get the local ones, but you don't get the freaking Wienermobile.
The Wienermobile is definitely where it's at. But I just had a very desert 2025 because I also went to California. You also went to California in 2025.
I did go to California, yeah.
And I will say, incredibly beautiful state. This is my first time going as an adult. The last time I went was pre-2008 as a child for a family vacation to Disneyland.
I spent like a week there or more, and I think I did a lot less nature stuff than you did.
Yeah, well, we were out there for a wedding in Orange County, in which it was out in like a ranch in like the mountains in like the like far, I don't know, like the part of Orange County that's not suburb.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Open up a map of California
like
and figure it out.
Or something?
No, it was in Silverado, California. Anyway, absolutely gorgeous venue. It's Labor Day weekend, so like I'm used to it being hot, being from like the Kansas, Missouri area, but it was beautiful. I'm in a suit. Outdoor wedding, dry, wonderful, absolutely amazing experience. But I have to say, one of my favorite experiences while I was out in California was going to the Richard Nixon Presidential Library and Museum.
Hell yeah!
My girlfriend refused to go. It was her friends getting married from college, so we were sharing an apartment that she got off of VRBO that smelled like someone died in it.
That's not a good sign.
It was not a good sign. And her friends were also there because we're all bunking together. And I leave to go on my own on a personal adventure to the Richard Nixon Presidential Library and Museum, in which I do, after all that, I do come back to accusations of being a Republican. And I'm like, no, not a Republican. I'm a leftist. I'm just weird. Anyway, I go.
I mean, it's Nixon. Everyone Nixon. Can appreciate Nixon, right?
It's Nixon, and the museum is like a perfect, like it's Nixon propaganda. It's a Nixon propaganda museum because it's his library.
Yeah, I think the entire Richard Nixon Foundation is designed to basically just be an image rehabilitation service.
Yes. So it was nuts. I paid the admission fee. There was a 15-minute documentary when I first went in where it's like Richard Nixon, he's the reason there's like going to China as a phrase because like he's such a cultural icon. And then Henry Kissinger pops up. He's just like, Richard Nixon was a man for peace. And I'm just like, all right, we have war criminals.
We got to bomb the Cambodians.
Yeah. So we do. I watched the 15-minute video.
Do they strap you into the chair?
No.
Like Eyes Wide Shut. Clockwork Orange, not Eyes Wide Shut.
No. I was there willingly under my own power. I was one of the only people there. It was a weekday. It was a weekday when they opened at like 10. And then you exit the theater and you go straight to the Oval Office, in which the lady there was just like, this is a representation of the Oval Office when Richard Nixon was president. And I'm just like, wow, this is cool. And she was like, you can sit on the desk and feel like you're Richard Nixon. I'm just like, oh, okay. So I went and I sat at the president's desk, and there's just a lady in the doorway looking at me, and I'm alone. I'm in a replica of Richard Nixon's Oval Office. It's me and an old lady. I don't know what to do. I'm sitting at the desk.
They gave you the authentic experience.
Yeah.
You just like,
I
she's just in the other room recording over your tapes.
Yeah.
You know,
and was like, oh, okay, I need to leave. So they do like a bunch of stuff where it's like, oh, like Richard Nixon was really good with his foreign policy, and he really had a lot of ambition. And then we get to this hall. Well, I get to this hall because I'm alone, where it's just like the Watergate scandal, and I'm just like, oh, this is going to be okay. Well, let's check this out. And it is the first time I've ever seen Richard Nixon Republicans being like, well, the Democrats, because it was like, well, the Democrats started the recording in the Oval Office trend with FDR. And
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And, Richard Nixon was just trying to preserve his legacy. And honestly, it was all a conspiracy against him. And we're not going to talk about the one prosecutor who died.
And we're not going to talk about, I assume, the whole things they were discussing.
Yeah.
That were the relevancy of it being recorded.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no hot pants conserve like playing in the library. And then you walk out, and I think it was after the deny Watergate was really that big of a deal hallway, and you are hit with I think I remember this right. You're hit with a gigantic wall-to-wall image of Nixon with Elvis.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like...
You got me the postcard.
Yeah, I got you the postcard. And then you get to his childhood, and then at the end, which I feel was a gross oversight of the Nixon Museum, but like I get doing it. They had like Nixon represented in media, and it was like the one image from like the 2010s where they had like the president doing cool stuff, like you had like Abraham Lincoln shooting machine guns or whatever. So they had like the one that they made for Nixon. They had the Futurama jar in the head. And
did they have one from Call of Duty Zombies?
I think they did too.
Okay.
But they didn't have any of the bad representations of Richard Nixon up there. They just had like a tiny wall of like his good.
I might have mentioned this on my podcast, my 24-hour layover in Washington, D.C., like 3 years ago. I went to the National, I want to say Portrait Gallery, but I think it was actually the modern, like the Contemporary Art Museum.
Yeah.
And they had a touring, maybe not touring, but they were like display for that month or whatever, was one specific artist who had drawn Nixon like 50 times, and they were all like, derogatory in nature. It was kind of like that. And it's just interesting because it's like a very famous exhibition of a famous artist who fucking hated Nixon. I was like, depicting him as a war criminal. But it's like, if you're trying to be an honest museum, you would include something like that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here's a artist contemporary to him that is famous enough to be in the Smithsonian Institution, and this is his opinion. Like, this is a broad-ranging opinion, right? We're not just like a propaganda institution.
And the Truman Library, I think, it gives people the opportunity to discuss in like a forum style where you can like submit like, what would you do with the nuclear bombs type of thing, where it's like you're allowed to, they aren't like fully like Truman made a mistake or Truman did the right thing. They're like, allow yourself, a modern American at this museum, to think about in your modern perspective how you would do this, and do you think this is okay? Yeah. And gave you the forum to discuss. The Richard Nixon like library and museum felt almost cultish in the admiration for him.
Well, they're like relitigating settled matters.
Yes.
Being like, well, no, the Friday Night Massacre, he was legally allowed to fire those people. Yeah. Don't ask why he was firing them or anything like that. Just, it's like never ask the deeper question of why things were happening. Just take our explanation of thing happened.
Mm-hmm. And I do remember one of the people when I was outside to go see Nixon's birthplace, which is the house that's on the complex. One of the guys outside was telling me that because Yerba Linda had an evil Democratic city council around when Richard Nixon was about to die, they had to donate the like little plot where he's buried near his house to the local church so it could be classified as a cemetery under California law. And I'm just like, no, I think, burying people in random locations is kind of a bad thing. Like, I would get like the exception for a president, but I do think the Yerba Linda City Council might have been a little bit correct in the no, you shouldn't bury a dead body in a complex that's surrounded by neighborhoods.
See, I think this whole affair kind of has something to say about the, I want to say deification of presidents.
Yes.
Because, I mean, I guess back in the day, a lot of guys, like Washington's buried on his estate because he was a rich guy and he had a bunch of land and, you just bury it. But, like, at the end of the day, these guys, as much as they're, like, powerful presidents and all that, we treat them way too much as if they're, like, popes or something. Like, it's like at the end of the day, Nixon, when he died, was a guy.
Yeah.
He didn't hold any office. He wasn't of any importance other than at one point he was president, right? Yeah. And I think it's kind of unhealthy for us. I get why it happens. It's like celebrity, whatever.
Yes.
But it's just like, it kind of is unhealthy how much we deify the president's post-presidency.
And the fact that, like, I'm not trying to diss the library and museum. I had a good time. It was quite funny. But how do you find so many people who have a cult-like obsession and worship for this man? To the point that, like, when I went to the helicopter, I tried to throw the double V's and do the to get the picture, and the guy was just like, "That's disrespectful to the president. You can't," and gave me my phone back. It wouldn't take the picture.
But that's the whole reason you have the helicopter. Yeah. The only reason it's there is because of that moment with the double V's, and you wouldn't want. It's cool, right? Yeah. Like, he's resigning. Yeah, it's a sad moment, but at the end of the day, the dude is dead.
Yeah.
And that's the most relevant part of his presidency is his resignation. I think that's the imagery everybody remembers. And I just don't get why you wouldn't want to. Yeah, sure, you, child, you 27-year-old, you 50-year-old, you made your way to this library.
I drove to Yerba Linda, California.
You remember the double V happening.
Yes.
And you want to, like, make a memory. Like, oh, I'm like Nixon. Like, no, we have to honor the legacy of Mr. Nixon.
Yes.
So you can't do it. Like, what about those Cambodians he bombed?
Yeah.
Was that disrespectful to the memory of Nixon?
I don't know, but it was.
The crazier thing is, in between when we last uploaded and now, Henry Kissinger's dead.
Henry Kissinger did die.
Yeah. Never thought that guy would go.
Nope. But yeah, I think that's the most eventful thing that's relevant to the podcast about my vacation to California. Because, like, other than that, I don't think we really went to the tar pits.
That place was sick. I went there. It was cool. Did you see the wolves, the dire wolves?
No, you
didn't go in the tar pits?
We didn't go in the tar pits. We paid to park and walk around the tar pits.
Because you went to the auto museum?
Yeah, we went to the auto museum. Okay. We did the tar pits and we had dinner reservations. To reality TV show fans, we ate at Sir. So if anyone has watched the TV show Vanderpump Rules, I'll let you know. Sir, not really that good. The food isn't good. It is a tourist trap for people who like reality TV.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
If any of our listeners, if you are even back after us disappearing for 2 years, like, bisect Weird Dude podcast and reality TV, Vanderpump Rules, we ate at Sir. It wasn't that good.
What even is the genre of this podcast anymore? Because originally it was like a history podcast.
See, and that's why at the beginning of this episode I talked about, like, rebranding, because, like, CleoCast I think is smoother than doing, like, Cleo history or whatever, and we haven't really done. We're more of like a current events recap podcast that has a little bit of our attempt of comedy behind it.
It's like a diary podcast at this point.
Yeah. This is a hobby. This is a outlet for our creativity as we march through this miserable life of late stage American imperial collapse and capitalism in order to, find a bit of solace on a weekday night.
Yeah. I was going to say, by the way, about the tar pits.
Mm-hmm.
If you had gone in, you would have been able to see the really cool exhibit on all the bones they've collected from it, including they have a repository of a few thousand direwolf skulls.
Few thousand.
Of which they have about 200 on active display, taking up an entire wall, floor to ceiling, about 25 feet tall. And it's like insane because they're basically like, yeah, dude, the direwolves, they would like see I don't know, prehistoric like caribou or something,
Yeah,
you know, like
stuck
a
in
prey animal stuck in, and they would be like, oh dude, that's free dinner, going, and then immediately get stuck in, and it would be like the entire pack. So it's just like thousands and thousands of dire wolves over the course of like tens of thousands of years are just like dying slowly in tar, and they're like, dude, yeah, we're just like excavating the tar cubes, and it's just like endless amounts of dire wolf skeletons. It's crazy. They've got so many of them. But then they also have and I think a lot of zoos have this type of thing too, where you can like walk up and see like scientists at work, like, hey, I'm doing veterinary stuff. But they have that with a guy with a bunch of guys and girls cleaning off mammoth skull, like a woolly mammoth skull. And it was crazy because it was, I think, the first time I've seen one of those things, and there's actually people like working.
Yeah.
And like you can like wave at them, and it felt like Jurassic Park because they're just like, they have this like I don't know, like melts the tar and doesn't affect the bone type of chemical. And it was really funny because you could see like the labels, and it's like, you know, the Monsanto Corporation, like alcacutalol or whatever. It's like some really fancy name, and it's just like, dude, this is cool as hell. You're just cleaning off like a 20,000-year-old mammoth skull.
Is what you thought, like, I guess this is a relic of our specific age, but like when you watch those VHS tapes in elementary school of like, this is modern science in elementary school, where they put it in and it's just like clearly filmed in the 90s. Like, it's like seeing that, like that 1990s like scientific hope type of deal just in real life at a museum that you paid $30 to get into.
The like peak globalism, peak like science is cool, like Bill Nye stuff. Honestly, it looked and reminded me of in Jurassic Park, that scene where they're like rotating around and like they hit the lab. It looked like that, and it was cool as hell. Yeah. But like, you know, you wave at them and they're like, hi, almost 30-year-old man. Okay, I'm like 50. I'm cleaning a mammoth skull. That's cool.
Yeah, it would. If you were a kid, this would be cute, but you're just a dude with a goatee.
Yeah. But you also, if you had gone outside and seen this, which you might have, they have the active pits.
We did see the active pits. We did see the like the Home Depot buckets just full of tar.
Yes, where they like cut out a cube and just like get like the trillions of bones and like microscopic organisms out of it and stuff. Because it's like an active dude. The tar pits are crazy.
Yeah.
I never knew.
It's a combination public park / half construction site for the LA Art Museum / near an abandoned coffee shop that's Bernie Sanders themed / across the street for the Peterson Automobile Museum where Biggie Smalls got shot. And
/ you like see the cones in the middle of the park, and it's like, oh yeah, that's where tar is actively seeping up from the earth. By the way, I would like to point out, I am doing this podcast wearing my Death Stranding hoodie, which was Death Stranding 2 had just come out when I was in Los Angeles, and it was incredibly timely because it was like, you know, you got Tar Man navigating through the tar, and you have no idea what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's okay. The viewers will get it.
Yeah. I think one of the best meals I had in LA was Bob's Big Boy. Highly recommend.
The donuts.
No.
The burgers?
The burger restaurant.
Yes, I couldn't remember if the kid was holding up a donut or a plate of hamburger.
No, I think the one holding up the donut is the Simpsons parody.
Okay. Yeah, you might be right. No, where did I go? Did I have any good dinners? I mean, I'll be honest, mine was mostly a family trip. You went like the week after I went.
Yes.
And we went for completely unrelated reasons. I went mostly because my wife's family lives out there.
You were going to your wife's uncle's 50th birthday, right?
I was going to my wife's uncle's daughter's 21st birthday. Yes.
Which was also his 50th birthday.
I don't know if it was. Was it? I'm a bad husband. I don't remember. All I know is we were only celebrating one.
Yeah.
So, but
And we were
That's
out there
fun.
for a wedding, and we just extended because it was Labor Day weekend. We just extended it a couple of days to have like a little LA vacation.
May as well.
Yeah. Went to Erewhon. Erewhon is not as bad as I expected. It's just, it reminded me of like Whole Foods before Whole Foods got bought by Jeff Bezos.
What is Erewhon?
Erewhon is like a like health food like store. It's like Whole Foods, but it's just more expensive.
Why
But
did you go to Erewhon?
because Erewhon, like anyone who has been on like the side of Twitter where people would be talking about Erewhon is like branded as the most expensive grocery store. Like it has like stuff that's like seems normal but is actually like crazy expensive, like a $40 head of lettuce or something like that. But
Did you go there just to look around?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
we drove to Calabasas because my girlfriend's a big reality TV fan, and she wanted to say that she's been to Calabasas, and we stopped at the
Gotta
Erewhon.
get the street cred.
Yeah.
I've been to Calabasas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that is.
We stopped at Erewhon in order to get some water because we wanted to drive it through the mountains to go to Malibu to kind of walk around a little bit. And we walked in there and we poked around, and honestly, like the prices, I mean, it's not like food for less prices, but it's, you know, like not like as bad. It's not like everything is $7 billion. And if you don't like walk in with the air of like wealth, they just shoot you at the door.
That's how I felt going to Trader Joe's for the first time a few months ago.
That's how you felt going to a Trader Joe's?
Yeah.
To a trade.
It was crazy, dude. They have like everything is like branded. I'm just like, I don't belong here.
You totally belong in a Trader Joe's. You
It was
would.
too white, man. I can't do it.
Oh yeah. You can stick to 888 International Asian Market then.
I went to Pan Asia the other day, dude. That place rocks.
Yeah.
They have a way larger selection.
These are Asian grocery stores in the Kansas City metro area.
No, Pan Asian is a. I was gonna make a joke, but they actually do have like, I was trying to think of a different one, but they actually do have Middle Eastern and like Brazilian stuff too. It's crazy. They have such a huge inventory now. They took over the
Old Whole Foods.
I think it was like they doubled their size.
Mm-hmm.
I got tofu there. It was pretty good. Made a tofu broccoli recipe.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even talk about our other trip. In 2025 was a big vacation year, I guess.
Oh, we went to Chicago?
Yeah, we went to Chicago.
Oh, I dragged Matt out to Chicago.
Yeah, this was my first trip to Chicago.
Podcast favorite Chicago.
We did a weekend in Chicago on the train.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Our friend has a band out there, and we went ostentatiously to see his concert, but then we just had an excuse to do other things. But my two people who have never been to Chicago before didn't give me any ideas. So I was like, I don't really know what to do.
I gave you two ideas.
And we did both of them.
Yes, I wanted to see the Picasso statue in Daily Plaza or whatever, and I wanted to see Alexander Calder's Flamingo.
Yes, so we saw both of
Yeah,
those.
we saw both those. They were a 5-minute walk from each other.
Yeah. And then we didn't really do anything else. But it was like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, and the train was delayed, and then most of the ride was trying to convince our one friend not to quit his job.
Yes.
But Portillo's was good. Portillo's was delicious.
Okay, this guy. I know that Chicago hot dogs
Yes.
are like a thing.
Yeah.
That's fine. And I know Portillo's isn't exactly like... I mean, it's kind of like going to Kansas City and getting barbecue and not hitting any of the actual ones and just going to like Jack Stack.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that.
Jack Stack is one. It's like if we went to like Dave's Famous Barbecue or something.
I was just saying it is authentic Chicago Portillo's, but it is also like very touristy.
Yeah.
That's why I was getting Jack Stack, because Dave's isn't actually like Kansas City. That's why I'm policing you on the analogy.
Yeah.
But you still never had an Italian beef.
Well, we had enough time to do it once, and I wanted a glizzy.
That's fine. We went to a kick-ass breakfast restaurant. We went we went to a bar to see his show, so we just kind of ate like bullshit, and then we had to go home, so we only got really like 2 dinners out of it.
Well, we had the deep dish from the famous.
Yes. We went to whatever that place was called. I can't remember.
Lou's something.
Lou Salzana's, Lou Malzani.
Yeah, something like that. Chicago heads are probably screaming their heads off right now.
Okay. I'm not a huge deep dish fan, but that's okay. It's just something to eat. I did get authentic tavern style because me and my wife went to Chicago on our own, and that was delicious. So I do understand the deep dish is not like the end all be all.
And turns out Chicago on an ocean.
It is.
It is on an ocean.
We had that whole episode about Chicago being an island.
Yes.
You can confirm now.
Go back and listen.
You should.
But anyway, that's I guess our big old vacation recap.
Which is not at all how the episode started.
No.
Which is kind of... Okay, so normally, fine listeners, normally we do have like topics picked out and we like kind of try to like talk about that topic and then whatever else. But for this one, we're like, you know what? It's been like almost 2 years. We can just kind of go.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, we did just kind of go.
Yeah, we still have a little bit of the juice left.
Yes.
What are we at time-wise?
Like 51 minutes just about.
All right, yeah.
Tell your friends about us. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Leave a comment. Tell us that you want more, or tell us that you want less. We'll never show up again if you do that.
Follow us, I guess, on X, the Everything app, even though I am no longer using X, the Everything app.
I'll still post a tweet. It'll be really funny because a bunch of people are going to forget that we ever followed, that they were ever following us.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Actually, the quick sidebar about that is I'm no longer on X, the Everything app. I'm limiting myself to 1 hour of Instagram a day, and my phone has been in grayscale for a few months now. I am battling technology addiction, and it is going meh.
You're battling technology addiction by buying a Steam Deck and playing Megabonk for like 7 hours a day.
Yeah, I have been playing Megabonk so much that my girlfriend is mad at me about Megabonk.
Which, by the way, official podcast endorsement, that game... Pretty fun.
Megabonk is good. It is fun on the Steam Deck. I will say if you're trying to beat technology addiction, do not get a Steam Deck and then play Megabonk for the time you would have spent on Twitter.
Oh, other official podcast endorsements. Modded Fallout New Vegas. Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Europa Universalis 5. It's okay. It was better on release. They kind of been messing up the balance a lot.
And once again, the classic Age of Empires 2, which we have gotten back into.
Yes, there's a naval update coming out in like a week. So if you are a fan of this podcast, buy Age of Empires 2.
Yes.
And play it.
Give Microsoft more of your money.
Give them more of your money so that they won't stop supporting it. Please, God.
Don't worry, I own the 2013 edition. We'll be fine. We'll fall back on that.
We'll just get the CD edition and turn on Game Ranger. Just play that way.
Yeah. I don't know. All right. Well, we are available where you get podcasts. Like and subscribe. And
we have a YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on
Google Play.
Google Play. They in between now and then they stopped supporting podcasts. I don't. Think they don't have a podcast thing anymore. Yeah, they discontinued their like podcast service on Google Play Music or whatever. So actually, in between now and then, we have actually dropped off a podcast thing because it has ceased to exist. So we are not. We are on Apple Music.
We are.
I think Amazon.
Wherever you like to get podcasts that Acast uploads us to.
Wherever fine podcasts are sold.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah. All right.
How do we do the outro? Thanks for listening, everybody.
I think we've been doing the intro for about a few minutes now. The outro for a few minutes now. Anyway, bye. Turn off the pod.
I have been RC.
I have been Matt.
Goodbye.
Right, turn off the podcast. Just stop recording. We need to get off.